So I was wrong on autonomous. It is not bad. It is not failing. It is awful. It is completely failed, and it's a joke, and everybody that works for him knows it. So when you go into the Uber app, you don't, when you hit a destination, you don't see, like in the car selections, you can scroll down black, XL, all your options, comfort, but you don't see autonomous. What you have to do is go into the services, click it the first time they send you an email. You click the email, it bounces you back into the app, and you see this. So in the services, after you say that you're willing to do it and that you'll comply with the rules, uh, you see this. So once you see this, you click it, and then you see this. So you can now, here's the rules. 2 vehicle operators in the front seat. They're here to support your ride and safety. 3 seats available in the back. Ride is recorded. You also, they don't list this, but you also have to sign a waiver that you won't record, videotape, live stream. I mean, they got it down on what could be done in there. And it's, I don't know what the penalty was for it, but I signed it, so I didn't do any of it. But the guys were beyond helpful talking to me. No edits or to pick up or drop off, no trunk space, and the rides are free. So here's what I did. I called a autonomous. There's no way I wasn't going to try one, right? I didn't want to go far. I just wanted to try it. So about a half hour, it was supposed to, I see it moving on the Uber map. It says 15 minutes. And then I see it just kind of stop about halfway. And about 10 minutes, and no time was changing. It wasn't even showing longer time, but it was just stopped. And then I got a notice saying that the autonomous vehicle, and it was weird that they were very clear about this. The autonomous vehicle had broken down.
Oh,
and that they didn't have
They did a
they only
background
run them in
check
the
on you.
days and it's during weird times. So they said, it broke down. We can send you another one, but it's getting near the end of the day. It will take an hour. Now I was having lunch with a friend, so I didn't care. I was like, sure, I will wait the hour. I want to see this. So the autonomous car, an hour later, it pretty much was exactly what they said. An hour later, rolls up. It has 2 people in the front, an engineer and a driver. The back door automatically opened on the motional, and I got in. And first thing on site, I was waiting for this thing, thinking, okay, and it actually had gone by me, even with the LiDAR and everything. I didn't even see it because it was so disgusting. I mean, like there were dents in it, and there were it was dirty. I was like, that can't be it. I'm sitting at the hotel. I'm like, no, I can't. And it's just sitting there, so I'm still waiting, and it's showing it's a little behind on the timing. So it looks like it's about to pull in, and I'm like, well, where is it? And I looked at the plate. That was it. Went up to it, and I took it to I think I took it to Planet Hollywood to go see my friend and his show and get a tour of the thing. So I wasn't that far from Planet Hollywood. I know if you guys are familiar, Vegas blocks are extremely long, like extremely long. I mean, like what a block is here in Denver, a block in Vegas is like 8 of them. So they're very long. But I probably went like 6, 7 Vegas blocks, and there was a couple turns involved. One of the turns, this was the weirdest thing ever. And I was talking to the drivers the whole time. I said to them, what do you guys think of this? And, I told them I have a channel. I said I have a podcast, a channel. I talk about this stuff, and I'm not a disbeliever that we can get there, but I think it's BS. I think if we really had autonomous, YouTube wouldn't be in the car, and they're laughing, and they're literally they're like, this crap doesn't work. All we ever do is just deal with it breaking. That's all we do. And so this car leaves, we make a turn, we make a left turn, then we had to make a right, and the car makes a right turn and the wheel hits the curb, and you could feel the wheel come in a bit. And I was like, oh my God, this car is going to break down. They're going to leave me here and say, that's it. You want another one? I was just going to be like, no, just give me a normal Uber. But the guy in the passenger seat got out of the car and he pulled like twice the size of a crowbar with like a different kind of like a hook with like a rubber end. And don't ask me what this is, you guys, because I have no clue. But he stuck it under the front passenger wheel that hit the curb. And he was doing this for like about a minute. And finally you just heard this clank. And he was like, oh. And he comes back in, and he takes that bar and he sticks it, that pry rod thing, like between the seats up front. So I hadn't noticed it, but now I'm noticing. I'm seeing this like sickle looking thing, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And what he had, I'm like, what was that? He's like, dude, that wheel, the right turn, that wheel hits all the time. So we just pull it back out because if we take it in every time, we don't even get a ride out of the day. I mean, everything about this was such a mess. And I said to him, isn't there a concern amongst the company of once, even if they do get to a point where autonomous is real, where they pull you guys out? I mean, I said, I've been coming to Vegas for a long time. Aren't you guys concerned about the everything that would go on back here? And they said, man, I'm not concerned because I'm not even going to be here that much longer. Like one of the guys was like ready to quit that day. He's like, I hate this. And he's like, but I'm not concerned if anyway, because they're not ever going to get to that point. There's never going to be a time these cars will be without us in the front. Now, of course, he didn't mean 100 years from now, but he was saying like, he's younger than me and he's saying in my lifetime, that's not happening. He's like, all we've seen is failures, crashes, breakdowns. Yeah. I mean, to me, I went in with okay, autonomous sucks. It doesn't work. I'm going to give it a try. I want to see what this is like. And if I was at a 2 with my belief in autonomous, I'm now at a -4. Like it doesn't even exist. It's fake, you guys. It's BS. It does not exist. With 2 people up front, they couldn't keep it straight.
All these companies know that there are so many problems. That's why there's still people inside these cars. It's, I don't know.
I think it's a part of it is just it's like almost like a thing to say you have it. Like it's like a status symbol, but they know that there's no future.
But here's my thing. Like, okay, I guess what I was thinking, this really confused me. Why are you taking passengers? Even though the ride's free, why are you doing that? I mean, you want to show passengers it does not work at all? Because wouldn't you rather just kind of, and I know this would be cheating, but this is what they've done in the trucking industry with autonomous. Wouldn't you rather just put all tinted windows on the thing and just have the guy drive it around so it looks like it works? You know, I mean, literally putting people in it and having 2 people up front, nobody can do anything, and the car's a piece of crap. That's not.
Aren't tinted windows illegal now?
Not in Vegas.
Oh.
I mean, nothing's illegal.
Yeah, it seemed like everything, like me, yeah. Here in New York and Jersey, you can't have
No,
your
I was going to say tinted windows are illegal
Well,
now.
You can't even
pass
have
inspection.
any tint or like
No.
you have to be like, wow.
Well, and the definitely the front and the front windows, like the front and like the drivers and the pad, like the back. I think you can kind of tint them, but the front you won't pass. Not
Well,
at all.
yeah,
I saw ones in Vegas that were all the way around.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
That
here in
sucks, Dave.
Denver,
I mean,
we're
you know,
getting
props to
those
you
the
for
laws,
jumping
too.
in and trying it because you know you hate robots and stuff like. But the fact that you even attempted to try it and had the worst experience, yeah, just kind of double down your view on it. I don't know why they take passengers if it's just passengers getting more inconvenience. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But they're going to have to try to figure this out. I don't know the process of how we get to a certain point where it's actually a viable piece of technology, but I wouldn't put people in there to have it break down, for you to feel uncomfortable in the car, where they have to take some kind of weird instrument
Metal claw,
to pop to pop
put the
wheel
tire and
out.
play like a dislocated tire. Like what?
This, I mean, those 2 are getting paid to do that. Let them, go. But yeah, it seems like I would like to know the person who decided to continue to do that and why. Like, why put passengers in there if you know it's not ready? It's not ready yet.
And that's what I said to one of the guys. The engineer had been had been doing this since the launch. The other guy had been working there about 3 weeks with this department, and he was the guy who was literally during our trip. He's like going, "I don't know, man, I'm quitting." He just kept saying, and he's like, "I'm quitting. This job sucks." He's like, "I hate it." But the engineer had been there the whole time, and he's like, "I'm like, do you ever get people who are like, that was really cool. I'm really impressed with that. I'm glad I did that." Because it's only people like me looking into it, because it's, again, it doesn't come up. It's not an option. It doesn't say, "Oh, autonomous." It's something you got to look for. You
So
have to
they're
find
not.
it
They're,
in the
they're
app.
kind of hiding it a little bit.
A little bit, but then I was like, do you even get people like me who do want to find it and see it? Have you ever had somebody say, "That was awesome, amazing job, great, I'm impressed"? And he's like, no. He's like, nobody's ever impressed. He's like, if we get them there, that's good.
That's a
Hey,
victory.
you kept me alive. Thank
It
you.
has to be embarrassing though for those
Oh my
guys
God,
that are doing the thing.
That's
but
why the one dude I think was quitting. It wasn't anything more than that. He was just like, he's like, man, people
Probably
yell at us.
morale. Like you don't want to. You feel like you're working a job that you don't think you're making a difference in
Yeah.
any way. Is
Right.
like all you're doing is just basically inconveniencing the person around you and yourself. You would want to quit too. I mean, I would. If I've,
Well, here's the kicker too. It paid the driver, and you got to remember Las Vegas too. So you can go make more money doing rideshare than this. He was being paid $25 an hour, not the engineer, but the other guy.
how much engineer?
Scary
Why
thing.
the hell would he do that?
I hope the
Yeah.
engineer is making like an engineer salary.
the scary thing is this is the future. It may not be
No,
in
it's
like
not. This
you
isn't.
don't think in 30 years that this is going to be the way of the future.
I used to think 30 years was kind of maybe. No, I'm thinking like 100, 200. I don't know. It's such a joke. I just don't. I'm embarrassed for what they're showcasing. So like that tells me that speaks volumes, because if they were close to something, they wouldn't be taking you around in these. Like, it's just a joke, straight up. The thing can't run its. I mean, like, and the guy could have probably grabbed control and made that turn happen, so that I didn't have to deal with that bump. But they just let it be autonomous.
That was going to be my next question. Why didn't they just take control of the car if they saw that it was gearing towards the curb?
Well, if they, there's these things in there too that say, like, you're about to experience Uber autonomous, and feel free to talk to both people up front, as they will not have to do anything during this ride. So they're kind of like
everything's
looking at
recorded
each
too.
other and through the back at you, which is another scary thing too, because the car is going. They're not looking out the front.
I feel like they're just
I
trying
don't
to
know.
gather data.
The whole thing to me, you guys, was the biggest joke. If you live in Vegas, I suggest you take one. Well, I know I don't, but if you're feeling
I
daring,
think I would take if I'm near one. I'll take one just for
Yeah.
S's and
yeah.
Wiggles.
I mean, John, you should go take a Waymo. You've got the Waymo one.
Now I
Pretty-
want to know if Waymo is how that compares.
I know that
No,
Waymo
we
has
want John
Waymo
to be
1. You're
around. No,
supposed to
John,
be a
don't take
Waymo
it.
1. You're supposed to be a
eventually gonna do
Waymo
it one
1
day.
member to get rides, but I think that you can't. I think there is a.
Well, they
there
can
are
do it in
places you
Phoenix,
can
but it's
do
just
it.
like I said. I have to go 20, not 20, but a solid 10 to 15 miles out of my way, which is I stay in my little neck of the woods.
Yeah.
What happens
No.
if there's like a freak accident? Like if I've seen
I'm
sometimes
recording
where
that.
the car hits the curb wrong, and the next thing you know, the car like flips over on its side, and you're like, oh my god, the person's injured, and there's a major car accident just by
Oh
hitting
my
the
God!
curb.
I saw them, and a lot of times they're going at very slow speeds. I'm thinking about going back and jumping in front of one, and just rolling off the hood and being like,
But then there's going to
All
be
right,
no
Uber.
individual lawsuits because they blame each other, and who's to blame for the lawsuit then?
right. But I'd be the pedestrian. There's got to be. I'm coming at you.
Well, they got
You know.
dents in it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I don't know. I was embarrassed that they were doing it. I was also kind of like, it kind of like reaffirmed all the things that I've been told and that I know, but it was like so much worse too. And I was embarrassed for Uber to even have this out there, because the type of people requesting these rides and going through all these steps must really care. And let's see where autonomous is at. And then they're finding out, oh, it doesn't even work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get it at all. I didn't get what the point was. I didn't get any of it.
I still think it's gonna happen eventually, whether we
Oh,
we
it
like
will.
or not.
But this is the same company, Kim, that said full autonomous. I mean, I've been driving since 2015. Full autonomous. Chris will remember this. Real Rideshare Stories. He's in here. By 2020. Then it was by 2022. And when they did that date, they said that VTOL would be in 7 cities, vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. They could just land, be at the airport, and take you to whatever building you need to work in that day. Land on the ceiling.
Who said this? When did they say this?
Uber. Look up Uber VTOL. You'll find all this crap.
It sounds like they were doing drugs.
Yeah, it's everything's just a joke with them. It's like, okay, well, that was going to be fully serviceable by 2025. That I don't even know if that's a program anymore. Like they dude, you can't fly a drone. How are you going to fly people in a big plane like a drone? I mean,
When I get my DoorDash or my Walmart deliveries delivered with a drone, then I'll start looking back at some of those